Alright, so in this video, we're going to explore the behaviors that can seem like love or concern, but are meant to shape how a parent sees their child, and the effect it has on the child being that many families have step parents who generally do care. We do live in a world with insecure people, and a lot of times these people end up right in our families. All right, have you ever noticed a step parent acting like they care, but something feels off about that? Are using concern to mask as insecurity, jealousy, or control? So we're going to be breaking down these behaviors so anyone who's experienced this can recognize the pattern, understand the impact, and see a path towards clarity and healing. So sometimes step parents show concern in a way that feels more like control than caring. All right, the concern might seem loving, but it's meant to guide or manipulate the child's choices on how others perceive them. It's a subtle form of influence that stirs the way others see the child, especially that child's parent. All right, this shows up as over monitoring, dismissing the child's feelings, or needing to be in the center of their relationship. Sometimes the insecure step parent will offer help, but what it's really about is guiding the child to appear a certain way to the parent. All right, it's basically another way of saying, hey, see, I do care about your child. All right, they are trying to mask their insecurity through fake love, so they'll act affectionate or overly supportive towards the child. All right, they'll go and ask the parents questions concerning the child, but what they're really doing is keeping tabs and looking for how the parent is going to respond so they know what to do or say next while acting concerned. Because they're trying to shape how the parent sees the child before the child can speak for themselves. All right, they do all of this because they feel threatened by the relationship between the child and the parent. So this is why a lot of times they'll insert themselves into the relationship with the parent and child. All right, they may even say things like, "Hey, I'm just worried about them because I know kids at their age normally do things like this or that," or "I'm only asking because I love them." It makes their curiosity seem protective, but their true motive is hidden in their jealousy and insecurity. So a lot of times, what the step parent will start doing is start snooping through the child's personal belongings like their cell phone or their rooms so that they stay one step ahead of the parent and the child. In other words, they want information about the child without having a relationship with them. All right. In most cases, the goal isn't just knowing, it's about being able to report back to the parent with information first. So they'll gather information, interpret it through their own insecurity, and then they'll present it to the parent as concern. All right. So what's interesting about this type of monitoring is that it's usually justified as protection. So the child starts to become the one that's being watched or questioned. All right. And for this, the child does not feel like they are loved or cared for. It makes them feel like they're being watched. So over time, it teaches them to hide rather than to trust. All right. The insecure step parent will often present it as them helping the parent stay informed. Again, but what they're really doing is shaping how the parent sees the child. All right. So over time, this affects the child's relationship with the parent because it undermines trust between the child and parent. All right. The child starts to feel like the parent doesn't fully understand them. All right. Because the parent starts to rely on the step parent's perspective instead of forming their own perspective by building a relationship with the child. And what that does is it teaches the child to hide their feelings and actions to avoid criticism or judgment. All right, the child would normally start to withdraw, leading to less open communication with the parent. And children who are put in these situations, they may feel the need to hide parts of themselves to maintain peace and avoid scrutiny, which weakens the bond and closeness with the parent, so that as time goes on, the child will learn to struggle to communicate openly, not because they did anything wrong, but because they learn that what they say or do may be used as criticism against them. So ultimately, the step parent's behavior, even when it's disguised as love or concern, it strains the parent and child's relationship and causes the child to become distant, not just emotionally, but physically. All right, so recognizing these patterns is not about placing blame, it's about awareness, because awareness brings clarity and healing. But that's all for now. As always, thanks for watching the video.